why this intro like feels so lame, but it is what it is. I'm heading back to the beach, and this video is gonna be about how to control your emotions while you're in a trade, when you're hitting your stop loss, how to manage that, how to manage a drawdown, because I made a reel about this, but I also want to make more detailed video on this because it's like very low-key, like endless topic that we can talk about. And it's 6 a.m. right now, very nice outside. And also for the second day I'm kind of running on maybe like 5 hours of sleep, but I mean, I'm not complaining. I feel super nice, very awake, and damn it, but feels very nice. I don't know why, but like at the beach I don't feel tired at all, and it's very nice. I can do a lot of things, because yesterday I was literally at the beach like the whole time, almost ever since I came here. I've been at the beach like almost until 11 p.m. I've been at the beach this early morning for so long, and I think it's very nice. Alright, so let's actually start talking about the topic that we were supposed to be talking about, is drawdowns, losses, and how do we handle our emotions when it comes to these things. Yeah, I have to show you that view. Hold on. Now we can be back and can be talking about the actually important things. So first off, that is a part of the game. We all say this, we all know this so well, but we all get frustrated. And when it comes to these things, you have to start by asking yourself why. Why are you in loss? Why are you feeling certain emotions? Because most of the time traders, when they are, let's say, in a drawdown, they feel upset, obviously. They feel like they don't want to lose that money. But the first rule in trading is that losses should never upset you much, and wins should never excite you much as well. Why? Because if you get overly excited over wins, you get this like huge dopamine boost, and then you just kind of get hooked on this over leveraging. And yeah, for some time this can work. It will work for some time actually, but later it's gonna catch up to you anyway, trust me, because I've been trying to use about 10% per every single trade for quite a while when I was starting, and it kind of worked for me for some time. But later I started losing a couple trades in a row, and obviously my leverage was pretty high, and I was losing a lot more than I wanted to, because before I was entering my positions, I was not firstly calculating my loss, but I was calculating my profit. And my profit was exciting me so much, but I was literally forgetting about the loss. Okay, so also, before every single trade, make sure that you firstly calculate the loss, not the profit. Because if you got super hyped for the profit that you can make, you can literally lose just as much, or double that, or triple that. Literally, you know what I'm talking about? Like, firstly, always make sure that you're calculating your loss. Yeah, it's actually so warm that I had to take my sweatshirt off, but let's continue. So when you have calculated your stop loss and you're okay with this loss, that can be, because always leave a room for a loss. Always assume that you can lose that trade, no matter how sure you are of your strategy, because trading is always 50-50, okay? It's always 50% win probability, 50% lose probability, okay? You're not in charge of the market, so you never know 100% where it's gonna go. Sometimes strategy may fail. Sometimes market is not going to be respecting your strategy, so always leave room for that percentage of unfair situations on the market. If you see the numbers of the loss and you are okay with that, only then proceed to place a trade, okay? Because if you so excited about the profit but you are not so much okay with a loss, never ever enter this trade. Protect yourself emotionally in trading, because the more you do that, the more stable trader you will be. It's like as simple as that. And let's say you are in a trade and you see price moving in your loss area, and it gets in a drawdown and it stays in there, and especially for swing traders, it can be pretty tricky, because me myself, I'm a swing trader, and that is really hard to see the price, especially if the trade takes quite a while to be closed. in profit or in a loss, doesn't matter, because you have to be super patient comparing to day traders, to scalpers. They can be at a drawdown for a couple minutes, a couple hours. Okay, as swing traders, we can be in a drawdown for a day, for two, and then price can reverse, or even more days in a drawdown. So at this point, you have to develop your patience. Okay, just sit on your hands and wait. And that's about it. Just see where the price takes you. Never close your trade if you have set your stop loss, and I hope you did. I hope you're not that person who doesn't set your stop loss. If you have your stop loss at the right place, and if you're okay with the loss that you may have, just leave it as that. But in case if you have over leveraged, and in case if you are scared that you can lose that amount of money, in the next trade, consider to leverage down, because like I said before multiple times, is your fear of losing money in trading is there only because you're over leveraging. It's because you don't want to see that negative amount on your balance. Why? Because you're not okay with losing that money. Why? Because you have over leveraged, and that's as simple as it gets. Okay, so make sure that the amount that you may lose is not bothering you. It's okay for you, right? So this can be 1% risk or 2% risk. Personally, I use 2% per every single trade. Sometimes when I feel very sure about my trade, I will add to my position, but that's later on while I'm already in a trade. Sometimes I get a little maybe carried away and I use 5% of my account. I never use more than 2% per trade while I'm entering, okay? And again, we are firstly calculating our loss, because we can over leverage and we can calculate our profit and we're gonna be so excited for it. But what if the profit is never gonna be hit? Like, what you gonna do then? You're gonna be upset, right? And you will get so fed up of trading. You don't want to do that for sure, and you don't want to quit trading as well. So make sure you're protecting your future profitable self, okay? Because also ask the questions like, will the future profitable me over leverage? Will the future profitable me break the rules? Okay, obviously not, because no profitable trader is breaking their rules. At least they're not supposed to. So act as if you are already a profitable trader. That's kind of like a different topic already, but do everything that a profitable version of you would do. Now, speaking of managing your emotions when you had your stop loss already hit, just accept your fate, okay? Like, it is what it is. It got hit, you cannot turn the time back. And I do understand that, especially for beginner traders, it's very frustrating because we kind of maximize our expectations and we get very frustrated when we don't get our targets hit. And I mean, it's okay. Again, it's completely okay, because it will be happening to you from time to time, like all the time. For the entire time that you are gonna be trading, you will be having these losses, and you have to make peace with that. All right, but then again, always make sure you analyze and ask yourself questions. Why did you have your stop loss hit? Did you make the right entry? Did you have the right mindset while you were entering? For that matter, to maximize the chance of me getting my targets hit, before every single trade, before I place buy or sell, I have my journal and I have these checkpoints that I've been talking about in almost all of the videos here, at least on YouTube. Y'all should make a checklist for your strategy and the psychology, okay, for these two aspects. So before you're entering your trade, make sure you have all of your confluences and make sure your mind is also in the right place. So again, for me, for the strategy part, there always must be the structure, the bias. You must follow the bias because trend is our friend, of course. Then liquidity sweep, then some candlestick pattern, then market structure shift based on the bias, okay, to the same direction. Let's say if the bias is uptrend, so if the price was retracing down, I must see the change of character to the upside for me to be able to place any trades. So these are all my technical confluences. Then I must make sure that psychologically I'm at the right place too, so that I don't feel greed, that I don't feel too excited for my profits, and that I'm okay with a loss that I may have, that my leverage is okay, and that I'm in a very peaceful state of mind. Because you literally should not give a shit about your trade. You just place it and you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, like if I hit my stop loss, it's alright, like it's okay, like reasonable. And if you get your target hit, your take profit, like also like, alright, I'm gonna be glad, you know what I mean? So make sure you always have these neutral feelings regarding your stop loss, especially your stop loss and your profit. But if it happened to be so that your stop loss got hit, again, it is what it is. You cannot turn the time back. Just accept your fate, like I said, okay? It's not a big deal. You will get more opportunities later. That's the first thing, okay? So, no, actually, the first thing, you have to step back from the charts. Some people say you have to start analyzing your trade straight up. I say don't, okay? Take maybe a couple hours away from the charts. It's okay. Let your mind rest, because all in all, still, like, having a loss is not the most exciting thing for you. And I mean, you just have to take a break from the charts, because you've been watching a trade, you've been watching your stop loss get hit, so it's kind of like some sort of mental damage, let's call it that way, whatever. And you want to make sure that when you are back to the charts to analyze why you have lost that trade, you have to make sure that your mind is clear, okay? That you are not overly upset, that you are not even slightly upset. You're just okay, you're ready to make the analysis on why you have lost that trade. Journal your losses always. And I say that you also have to journal your profits, but I mean, some people do, some people don't. I used to. Now I don't journal my profits, because like I said before, I make an entry in my trade. I journal all my confluences and how I feel mentally before entering my trade. So that's low-key my analysis. And if I get my take profit hit, so I did everything correctly, so you know, there's kind of no need to reanalyze that stuff again. But if I had my stop loss hit, I will, like I said, take a break from the charts for a couple hours, and when I feel rested, finally I'm back to the charts and I see what didn't go right, what maybe I didn't do right, okay? And maybe it just, sometimes these are just market conditions, because sometimes I can have like a really long winning streak, and then all of a sudden the same setup, the same confluences, but I get my stop loss hit. Sometimes market just does not really respect the strategy too well, and it's okay. Sometimes it's more volatile, sometimes it's less volatile, sometimes it literally does whatever it wants, because again, you're not in charge of the market, so always leave a room for the chance of you losing your trades. I feel like I'm talking like a lot of things, like a lot of reasons, a lot of like explanations how you should act while having your, you know, loss, while you're been in a drawdown. But to be honest, in couple words, it all depends on your leverage. Because if you were okay with a loss, you wouldn't be too upset. You wouldn't be upset when you're in a drawdown, and you wouldn't be upset if you're getting your stop loss hit. Okay, so to be honest, as simple as it gets, just always make sure you're having the reasonable leverage. Never ever risk more than you are willing to lose. Never ever risk more than you can lose, okay? And only then you will make peace with every single trade that you're taking, because yeah, it just gets as simple. Bruh, there's a pigeon walking. There's a fucking pigeon walking. And bruh, please get the fuck out of here. Nobody. No, bruh, fuck off. Yo, I'm so scared of fucking pigeons. Bitch, I'm fucking literally scared of pigeons. Like, it's my biggest fear. Don't laugh at me, but that's my biggest fear. Like, birds, especially pigeons. Yo, buddy, no, please walk away. Damn, that shit gives me a lot of anxiety, more than people do. I get social anxiety, but also have pigeon anxiety. Because there are seals also at the beach, obviously, but they're not really scaring me as much as pigeons. But anyway, back to our topic of trading. So like I said, you always must have a reasonable leverage. Then you will not be asking me, what do I do? How do I handle my emotions while having a loss? Have a reasonable leverage. And I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, Because if you had a reasonable leverage, you wouldn't really give. Oh shit! Oh my! It's a huge signal. You wouldn't be stressing about your loss. That would be it is what it is, as it should be, because like I said, it all boils down to your risk management. Okay, never risk more than you're willing to lose, and then you will be okay, and that's how you're actually becoming profitable. So yeah, I don't think there's much honestly that can be said about this topic anymore, because like I said, the main reason is your leverage. I don't know if you knew this or not, but the main reason is your leverage. Okay, that would be like as if you lost like $2 somewhere in the street. Literally the same feeling should be with when you're having losses in trading, as if you lost like $2 somewhere in the street. Like, it is what it is, you cannot get it back, you just dropped it somewhere. So the same thing should be applied here, the same feeling should be here too, that as if you dropped some $2 on the street, the same feeling should be present when you're having your loss. Like, it is what it is, you cannot have it back, you can only make it in the next trade. Okay, and well, I think that's about it for this video, because like I said, there is not much that can be said for that matter anymore. I think the main reason I named you, how to handle the losses and the drawdowns, and how do you not give a shit about them. Okay, and yeah, again, always make sure that you're journaling your trades. If you have over leverage, don't do this anymore. Okay, be mindful of your risk. And yeah, well, thank you for watching. I really hope the video helped you at least in a slightest bit, and I will see you in my other videos. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and goodbye.